Hello mathematicians, today we are going to be talking about order of operations, and your objective is that you will be able to identify and communicate the correct order of operations of a numerical expression. So let's get started with our vocabulary. So order of operations is a set of rules that tells us what math operation to do first in an expression with multiple operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. The go-to acronym that we like to use, but we don't want to rely on it solely, is PEMDAS. And so that first P represents parentheses or grouping symbols. E stands for exponents. M stands for multiplication, and D stands for division. Now, these are grouped together and you work them from left to right. A and S stand for addition and subtraction, and they are also grouped together. So PEMDAS is not the end-all be-all. Sometimes there are some exceptions or something doesn't quite seem like it fits in there, but for the most part, you're going to be doing this. So when we're talking about parentheses or grouping, we're not talking about the parentheses that represent multiplication. We're talking about the parentheses or brackets that are around an operation, so an operation that you need to simplify with inside the parentheses or grouping symbols. And then once you've done that, then you look for more parentheses, and then once you're out of those, then you start moving down the list. But each time you move in and out of parentheses, you start the list over. All right, let's do an example. All right, go ahead and write these problems down. So sometimes our P for parentheses can come up as brackets, braces, or parentheses themselves. So we don't necessarily consider these parentheses, although they are. There are no operations inside of them. So we're going to be looking for the grouping symbols here. And so within these brackets, we are going to be reordering for PEMDAS. So we look for any exponents, none, but there is multiplication and or division. So right here, this dot means multiplication. That means we're going to take -11 times -10. It's really important that you type it into your calculator using the correct buttons if that's what you're using, or it will miscalculate it. So we'll still have this minus a negative, and minus a negative makes that a positive. So we'll have a +3 down here, and -11 times -10 would be a positive 110, and then we still have this -11 out here. So we still have stuff going on inside of some grouping symbols. So let's go ahead and add that together. That would give us 113, and then we still have that -11. And our final answer would be to subtract those, and we get 102. Let's take a look at number 2. So inside of the parentheses, we ask ourselves about PEMDAS. So nothing out here matters yet. Inside of the grouping symbols, we have an exponent. So we need to take care of that first. So we are going to take care of the exponent first. So 2 squared. Remember, exponents are repetitive multiplication. So that would be 2 times 2, which is 4. And then we still have that +4 in the parentheses. And then outside of the parentheses, we still have times 2 minus 3. We still have some grouping symbols and operations inside of there. So we are going to add 4 and 4 together, which gives us 8 times 2 minus 3. So we are done with our grouping symbols. So now we look for multiplication, division, and we do have that right here. 8 times 2 is 16. still have that minus 3. And then our final step would be to take 16 minus 3, which gives us 13. All right, lots of crazy things going on. We work from the inside out. So we have some brackets right here, and then inside we have some braces. So we need to take care of that first. So always find the inside portion of these problems, and everything else is going to stay the same. Oops, that is a 7, not a 2. And we are going to take 12 divided by a negative 6. 12 divided by negative 6 would give us a negative 2. Notice we have an exponent of 3 up there, and times 3 on the outside. So again, inside of our grouping symbol, notice that we have an exponent. So that's what we need to take care of next. Exponents are repetitive multiplication. So this would be negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. So negative 2 times negative 2 would be a positive 4. And positive 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. So we have negative 7 minus a negative 8. Let's take care of this double negative in here. Negative 7 plus 8. And now take care of the inside of that. So negative 7 plus 8. That would be like having $8 and spending 7. You have $1 left. And 1 times 3 would be 3. One more example together. So looking for, looks like we have big parentheses out here, and inside of those we have that, and then we have parentheses over here. So inside these parentheses, we have an operation of 6 plus 4. So 6 plus 4 is 10. Divide. And then inside of these parentheses, we have an exponent. So we're going to take care of the exponent first. And remember that exponents are repetitive multiplication of that base number. So 2 times 2 is 4. And 4 times 2 is 8. So we have 8 minus 7, and then notice you have an exponent out there. Inside of these parentheses, we have multiplication. So 10 times 10, which would be 100, and now we're done with that. There's no more operations. We do have an exponent on the outside, but we have an operation on the inside still. So we are going to take care of that operation first. 8 minus 7 is 1. Now we can take care of the exponent, because exponents come before division. And that is 1 times 1, which is just 1. So we have 100 divided by 1. And we can finally do that and finish off with 100. It is your job to go find 2 examples from the internet. Make sure you cite your sources. I have several websites that you have available to you on our classroom website. Complete your 6 practice problems, complete your self-reflection, and then let's take a mastery check. As always, happy mathing!